23 minutes after the hour, this is the Curtis Lewa Show. And as we can see, the terrorists in the Fort Hood shooting, Major Hassan, in addition to the 13 counts of premeditated murder, making him eligible for the death penalty. Now his lawyer is saying that he's paralyzed from the waist down. He's not going to be able to walk in the future, and said he also has severe pain in his hands. Now, what, if any, impact is this going to have in terms of the trial process that takes place? Let's go to Bob Chapman, former Army counterintelligence officer. Welcome to the Curtis Lewa Show, Bob.
Well, it's very nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, now question, Bob. The fact that he is impaired, paralyzed below the waist, probably would have to be brought in a wheelchair or a gurney. Do you think that'll have any impact on the proceedings that take place and on his eventual sentence?
No, I don't think so. And, these kinds of situations are unfortunate, but, lots of people saw him kill a number of people and wound others. And, no, I don't think so. I think he's going to be tried and probably executed.
All right. Now, I want you to listen to Secretary of Defense Gates chastising all the people who have come forward to speak, who are in the military establishment, about what a crazy jihadist and anti-American Major Hassan was.
Frankly, I deplore the leaks that have taken place. People who have a piece of this, frankly, ought to keep quiet and let the authorities go forward with this in an organized and comprehensive way.
Bob, I got to tell you, I welcome the fact that these men and women in service have come forward and told us that they didn't do the right thing, that they assumed that his rants and ravings were either based on research or their own unfamiliarity with the Muslim faith, so they didn't want to sort of jump the gun, so to speak. It was up to the Secretary of Defense. We would know none of that.
Well, I think that the Army has missed the boat here terribly. And they knew the feelings of the person involved. They promoted him to major. He had bad reviews. He was a unusual, isolated type of person, introverted. And but he was very, very outspoken. And the FBI had looked into the situation for a year or more, and they didn't move on it. I would assume that Army CID would have looked into it as well. The Army really should have cashiered him. They should have taken his rank away and told him to go back to civilian life. And as it turned out, they didn't do that, and a lot of people get killed. Now, that doesn't mean he wouldn't have done that in civilian life to some others. But the point is that they knew where he was coming from, and they should have done something about it.
Well, Bob, I've oftentimes said, if you ever watched MASH and the character known as Corporal Klinger, he wore a dress so he could be Section 8 out, a psych discharge, not to have to perform in the Korean War, and his commander just ignored him. Corporal, you're with us for the duration. This guy couldn't have advertised more that he should have been Section 8 out, drummed out, by giving public presentations about how our policies in Afghanistan and Iraq were wrong, how the Muslims were right to be fighting us. I would have thought immediately he would have come up for review.
Well, he didn't, and I think it was some of the reasons that you expressed earlier, him being in a minority and people in military not wanting to make an issue out of it, let it roll and hope it gets better. And that's not what happened. And it's their responsibility to do that. And I can see you've been in the military, and I was as well.
Oh, no, I must correct you. I've never served in the United States military. I've been on the outside looking in, and naturally honor all those who have served in peacetime and in wartime, like yourself, Bob. Up next, they're bringing those Gitmo detainees to New York City for federal trial in the same court that John Gotti Jr.'s been in.